What's going on, everybody? Hopefully everyone's doing well. Uh, Again, thank you for tuning in. If this is your first time watching one of my videos, I appreciate you being here. For those who have supported and continue to support my channel, thank you so much. Your views, your comments, your likes, your shares, your subscription to my channel means a lot. So again, thank you very much. And also, for those that wish to donate to help me continue to make this content, I have provided those links in the description of the video. And again, if you feel like that's something that you want to contribute to financially, it does help me stay consistent with these videos. But your views, your comments, your shares, your likes, your subscription, those are great as well. So thank you for that. Happy Father's Day to the dads out there. We just celebrated Father's Day weekend. And happy Father's Day to those who are maybe not traditional dads, but are in that father role. Shout out to you as well. And, it's all about the kids. It's all about building up our next generation even better, however that has to be. And so thank you for those of you who have taken on that responsibility. It's not easy, but it is very rewarding, and I am grateful to be a dad myself. So today's video, I just want to pick up a little from where we left off from last week. And last week we talked about how do we stop focusing on our failures and our mistakes, right? How do we stop just staying stuck on those things, right? Because we can't be stuck on that. It's going to happen. We're human beings. We're going to make mistakes. We're going to fail. Just the way it goes, right? So how do we learn? We often look at failure as like the worst possible outcome, right? And I get it. We don't want to fail. Who wants to make a mistake? Who wants to mess up? Nah, when we go to attempt to do something, we want to do it right. We want to get the results that we're looking for. And then when that doesn't happen, it can be tough. But we can actually learn, right? We can actually take from that experience, okay? Failure should not be the objective, right? We're not trying to fail, but it also shouldn't be seen as a complete failure, right? It also shouldn't be seen as like the end all, like, oh man, I failed, I messed up, that's it, right? It keeps us from never trying again, a lot of different things. And so I want to help us get out of that. I want to help us stop thinking that way and see it different, okay? And when we learn from our mistakes, we become less likely to fail in the future. That's good, right? And our success becomes that much more meaningful and special. See, because we understand the hard work that it takes, the critiquing, the small tweaks, the adjustments, just the little the behind the scenes work that it takes that nobody sees. Right? Because when you accomplish something great, or when you complete a goal, right? You graduated from college, or you got promoted. Nobody saw the hard work that went behind that. Nobody saw the opportunities that were missed or not, taken advantage of properly, that you had to learn from and kind of wrestle through and struggle with to get there. And so the future successes become that much more meaningful because we understand what it takes and the hard work that it takes to learn from our mistakes so that we can be better the next time. Don't let your failure go to waste. If you take anything away from this video, like if you stop watching this video right now, just take that away. Don't let your failure go to waste. If you learn to learn from it, okay? If we learn from our failures, we'll never have wasted our time. And that's good news, because time is precious. We don't get more of it. We don't get it back, right? Yesterday's gone. Tomorrow's not promised. Right now is what we have, okay? So the first thing we want to ask ourselves is, in any particular mistake that we've made, in any particular situation we're looking to learn from our failures, we want to ask ourselves, at which point did it go wrong? Let's start there. Where did it go wrong? Usually we can trace our failures to a specific point in time, or perhaps it was a particular lack of resources, or maybe we just weren't prepared, right? Sometimes it's pretty simple, right? We didn't do what we needed to do, okay? No matter the case, identify the nature of the issue, and then you can look into preventing it from happening again in the future, right? So first things first, we gotta find out, where did it go wrong, okay? Identify at which point it went wrong. Second thing we want to do is we want to reassess our planning. Yes, there's planning involved, right? What do they say? If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Okay? Fail to plan, plan to fail. Got it? It's got to be a plan. And again, that can sometimes lead to the frustration that we have from wanting to be open to learning from our mistakes. And I get it, man. We're not always going to be in the mood to want to learn from our mistakes. We can be like, man, I feel like I just want to sulk real quick. Like, let me just feel sorry for myself. You know what? Sometimes we need to give ourselves some grace. Sometimes we need to be sad. We might be bummed out about it. Give yourself a moment. And once the moment's done, reassess your planning. Right? In other words, when I set out to attempt the goal, okay, look at whether I was prepared or whether I had everything taken into account, right? So again, which point did it go wrong? Second thing is reassess our planning, right? Like what could we have done, right? What was involved here? What were the variables, right? Okay, this, and this. Okay, I didn't have that, or I wasn't doing this, right? Or I wasn't thinking this way, right? But we have to reassess. We have to reassess our planning, and then we have to identify the locus of control. Okay, locus. What does that mean? Just where was our role in the failure, right? So let me slow down real quick. First thing we want to identify at which point did it go wrong. Okay, we attempted something. We attempted a process or a project or whatever we attempted, right? We didn't get the desired outcome. We failed. So we need to find out. We need to ask ourselves, where did it go wrong? Okay, so now that starts our search, right? This is part of the learning process. Okay. Second thing, we're going to reassess our planning. What happened before things started to go wrong? The third thing, where was my part? What was the locus of control? Where was my role in the failure? How can I accurately see because here's the thing, we can't control what happened around us. Sometimes there's a lot of variables, there's a lot of outside influences. I'm not saying every single mistake and failure is 100% on us. But if we're involved, okay, if it's my failure, if it's my mistake that I got to learn from, then I did have a role. It might have been 1% out of 100, right? 99% it was on something else. That 1% was on me. Well, guess what? That 1% is what I need to look at. What I need to identify, and I need to see where was my role, and what other things happened, right? But again, other things are always going to happen. There's always going to be things. All I can control is me. All you can control is you. Okay, so we want to learn from our mistakes. We have to identify our role in that failure. The other thing we need to do is we need to ask other people. Now, I know this is gonna be hard for a lot of us to ask others, right? Because being objective, right, when assessing our failures, it sounds really nice in theory, but it's really hard to do. Okay? And now you're getting a second set of eyes in there to kind of help you look at it different. You want to ask them, like, what do you think went wrong? Again, this is going to be tough for some of us. This entire process, right? Maybe some of us aren't even at that point where we feel like there's value in learning from mistakes. We feel like there's even value in failure. I heard an acronym and I love it. FAIL, FAIL. First attempt in learning. FAIL stands for first attempt in learning. See, that's putting a different spin on it. But some of us, because of our mentality, because of the way we were raised, or because of our just our mindset, we haven't yet come to that understanding. Okay, so I'm not trying to steamroll anybody. We're all going at our own pace. This is a marathon. It's not a sprint. We're all going at our own pace. Some of us are further along than others. So if you haven't even gotten there yet, some of us haven't even gotten there yet. This is going to be difficult. But guess what? You can get there. You can change. If you're willing. If we're willing, we can change. If we're willing, we can learn, unlearn, and relearn. Okay? So don't beat yourself up if you're not there yet. And for those of us who are there, let's not beat down others either. Okay, this is tough. This is hard work. This is about self-development. This is about emotional intelligence. This is about becoming the best version of ourselves. This is a difficult journey. So again, how do we learn from our mistakes? First thing we want to do, we want to find out at which point did it go wrong. Second thing, reassess our planning. What came before things went wrong so I can adjust accordingly in the future? What was my role? Identify it. Could have been a small role, but identify that role, right? Because that's going to help you adjust what you can adjust. And it's also going to take the pressure off your shoulders as far as the things that you can't control, because there's always going to be that factor, no matter what situation you're in. The other thing we want to do, we want to ask others, right? So far, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 things to help us learn from our mistakes. The fourth is to ask others. Get a different set of eyes. What do they think went wrong? Some of us are going to have to swallow our pride. We're going to have to eat some humble pie and take that constructive criticism, but I promise you it's going to make us better. It's just going to make us better. Okay? Now, the fifth thing that we can do to learn from our mistakes, the fifth tip, right, is to create an action plan. Right? Again, like I had said before, fail to plan to fail. Right? And that's in step with what this is about. We're not going to be very useful, right? This is not going to be very useful to us if we don't ask ourselves what we're going to do different the next time around. You understand? Like, a lot of us are stuck in the situations that we're in because we've been able to identify everything. Maybe we've been able to see the entire picture. And the only thing we're not doing is anything different. And if you haven't heard this before, let me share this with you. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. If we want different, we've got to do different. And this is like the end cap of this whole lesson of learning from our mistakes. What went wrong? Reassess my planning for the future. What was my role in the failure? What do others think? What did my trusted, friend or person in my life, what did they see? What do they think went wrong? And I take all this information, I take all these things that I've learned, and now I have to put it into a plan of action. What will I do different the next time around? And this really is just the icing on the cake here. Because if we don't take a different plan of action the next time around, well, guess what? More than likely, what can we expect? Quite possibly the same results. And if you weren't happy with those, well, why would you want to do the same thing that got you those results? And again, I'm not trying to demean us or talk down to us, but we really do get in our own heads a lot. We really do. We're people. We're emotional. We're influenced, right? We're raised a certain way. Our parents, our world around us was a certain way, and all those things play into how we see the world, how we see ourselves, how we see what we can do about certain things. And so, again, we're all on this journey together. We're going at different, at a different pace, each of us, and when it's all said and done, we have to understand that if we want different results, we got to do different things, right? So a quick recap on how to learn from our mistakes. What point did it go wrong? Where can I, what happened before things went wrong, right? What can I identify there? What was my role in the failure? What do others think went wrong? And again, I'm taking all that and putting it all together. The next thing is an action plan. What am I going to do differently next time around? And this might be, who knows, right? Because after this, it's like, well, how many times am I going to have to apply this process? Well, as many times as you want. As many times as we're willing to learn from our mistakes. Right? Now, I don't know about you, but I demand from myself to find value in these things, to find value in my failures and in my mistakes. Why? Because I refuse to waste time. I refuse to waste time, because it doesn't matter who you are. If you're wasting time, you're throwing away a precious resource. So I can't just look back at that situation and say, oh man, it was such a terrible place to work, and oh, I hated that job. And if I do that, that's, okay. But what does that say? Like, they've moved on. Somebody took your position. I mean, they're not worried about it. It's over. So wouldn't you rather take something good from that? Like, I'd rather look at it and say, you know what, it was, it wasn't what I thought it would be, but man, I've made some great relationships, I've great friends, right? Got some great relationships out of that job. I learned some valuable lessons. I learned a lot about myself, right? So again, you see the two different approaches. It's up to us. But I wanted to share this video with you, give you some practical steps on how to learn from our mistakes, and I hope it helps. And if you think there's anybody that would gain from this or benefit from this video, feel free to share with them. Again, this is just this is what this is about. We're a community, and I'm contributing my part, right, as we move forward in this journey together. And so thank you for those who have watched and listened, and I'll see you on the next video.